Good early morning, old school Texas Tech. It's about 3:45 here in South America, in Colombia. I'm going to continue with my series predicting different schedules around the country, and I'm going to go with Oregon State. I've talked about some of their common opponents, so I thought I would go ahead and talk about them this morning. Oregon State lost their head coach. They were pretty decimated in the transfer portal. They actually put some guys in the NFL as well. They've got a new quarterback from Idaho. Last name is McCoy. Looks like he's got some pretty good numbers, got some experience, and so he could be a really good contributor for them. And certainly they've definitely upgraded that program. I'm sure that the realignment stuff has been very traumatic for Oregon State fans, and I could say that I think a lot of people around the country, including myself, are sympathetic to both Oregon State and Washington State and everything that they have been through. I hope they get what they deserve with the aftermath and the Pac-12 or Pac-2 conference, whatever we're supposed to call it now. So they opened this season at home against Idaho State. I think Oregon State's going to easily win that game. I just don't think Idaho State's got enough talent. Then they're going to go week two. They're going to go at San Diego State down in Southern California. Um, San Diego State has had some good years in the past, but they didn't do very well last year. I've looked at what they've got, coming in and what has left, and in terms of the transfer portal, and I think that it's going to be a tough one. But I think Oregon State can go on the road and beat them and get their second win of the year. Then they come home and play Oregon, in-state rival, but Oregon's really good, like a national title contender easily. So I think Oregon's gonna get that game for sure. Then week four, this pick may surprise some people. I'm not sure, but they play Purdue at home. They're going to be working on chemistry with so many new players. Only one returning starter on defense, I believe, and they've got the quarterback. How well he'll be doing in week four? Are they going to have any injuries? I think Purdue's probably got some more depth. Purdue's not going to be like a really really good team this year, but these two schools, both Washington State and Oregon State, they've got some upside, but I also kind of worry about them with stability a little bit. So I'm going to go with Purdue winning that game. I'm sure that's going to make some Oregon State fans unhappy, but that's just my feeling on that one. Colorado State at home. I like the coach. I believe his name is Norvell. I like the coach at Colorado State. I like the banter between he and Coach Sanders at Colorado. Thought he held his own against a big name national coach. And Colorado State's going to be pretty good this year, and I've actually got Colorado State winning that game, so that would be starting with two wins, then three losses. Don't worry, it gets better. Nevada, they go on the road at Nevada. As I've said before, I think Nevada is one of the worst teams in college football. I've got Oregon State easily winning that game. Then they come home and they've got UNLV. This will be a tough game. If it were down in Las Vegas, I would pick UNLV, but it's a home game, so I'm going to go with Oregon State to beat UNLV. Then they play at Cal. Kind of a weird situation with Cal playing in the ACC. I think Cal's just going to be too good, though. They've got a lot of people returning. They've got one of the best running backs in the conference. I think Cal's going to be too much for Oregon State, particularly on the road. Then they get San Diego State at home. I think San Diego State is also one of the worst teams in college football. They're completely rebuilding, and so I've got Oregon State winning that game, which will get them to 5 wins. Interesting game, kind of a tough one to call, but they're going to go down and play Air Force. Air Force runs all the triple option stuff. Oregon State's new coach is a defensive minded guy. I have to think that he's going to figure out a way to stop that. Also, Air Force has just been completely decimated on their offensive line, and who knows what they're going to be able to do with the transfer portal. So I've got Oregon State winning that game, which will get them up to 6 wins on the year. Washington State, Oregon State. It's going to be played in Oregon. I think the whole country, is keeping an eye on those two teams. I think we all feel sympathetic to them, empathetic to them. I think that Oregon State will win, but I think it's going to be a great game. It could easily go either way. Sounds like what I'm hearing is that Oregon State just has a little bit better secondary, and that could be a problem for Washington State as they really struggled to run the ball last year. But I've done some. Washington State's an opponent of Texas Tech this year, so I have done some research on them. They're definitely going to be a good team, and that will definitely be a good game. I do not believe the last game of the year for Oregon State will be a good one. They're playing on the road at Boise State. Boise State's probably going to be fighting for a playoff spot or could very likely be fighting for a playoff spot. So I have Oregon State dropping the last game of the year. So they'll have them beating Idaho State, Oregon. I'm sorry, Idaho State, San Diego State. I have them beating Nevada, UNLV, San Diego State, Air Force, and Washington State. So 7 and 5. Okay, I'll keep coming with these predictions. Have a great day.